So I know I've been MIA for a while, and you can probably tell by the title of this video. So I thought I'd actually start a series on my cancer journey. So I'm going to answer several questions tonight, so I will be wearing the same outfit. The way my wife has worked out, I don't have time for much, especially for sit-down videos. I basically have time for videos on my phone, but I thought I just needed a little extra niceness. So, how was I diagnosed? It was purely by accident. It was not anything you would think of. I was getting tired, like really tired, but that's not unusual for me to be fatigued. So I thought I had low iron. Then my bones started to hurt and I couldn't walk as far. Like at one point, me and Ava walked around this whole field, and the next time we tried it, I was out of it by like a medium way around this field. The point we had to walk back, so we couldn't do the complete circle. So I started looking this up, like Google, and it was like low thyroid. I thought I had low thyroid. That's all my symptoms seemed to fit into. So I made an appointment, and I didn't even make an appointment with my doctor. I just took the earliest appointment, which was with a PA. Yeah, a PA. So I go to this appointment. He was kind of rude and kind of pushy. And I was like telling him what I thought I had. He said, well, it could be anemia too. Let's take some blood work, blah, 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 right? Still on this low thyroid. So I take the blood work, and then I go home. And I pick up some ice cream on the way home, and I'm sitting at my computer, sitting at my computer, eating my ice cream, waiting for Ava to get home. And then I get a call from the doctor's office. And she was real scary on the phone, and she was like, you need to go to the emergency room right now. And I was like, why? Well, your levels are all off. We don't even know how you're still standing. This, that, and the other. You could have a heart attack. And she's like, call an ambulance. I said, I'm fine. I'm gonna drive myself, right? Well, she's like, put your car in valet, blah, 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 blah. But I wasn't really scared because I wasn't feeling that way. So I drive to the hospital. I put my car in valet, the emergency room. I'm sitting there for several hours, and they're doing like all these tests, all this blood work, whatever. Then I get admitted. Like I'm admitted. I'm like, oh my God, like what the hell is going on? And I end up in the hospital for like a week and a half. Now this totally blows the mind of my family. Ava is high needs. I think my mother didn't send her to school for several days. And then she started sending her to school. But if Ava has a seizure or anything happens at school, someone has to pick her up. So we enlisted my father and everybody else, to get on board with this. And so I'm in hospital. I mean, I'm taking all kind of x-rays. I mean, they're doing blood work all the time. And then I'm having issues with certain stuff they're giving me. Like there was water on my lungs and I couldn't breathe for like 2 days. And I mean, stuff was happening and it's all in a blur. What happened was I started reading the notes from my doctor when I was in the hospital, and it all started flashing back about like all the things that were happening. But I still, in my mind, was thinking I'm gonna go home and be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like this is just a blip. They're gonna figure out what's wrong. They're gonna put me on a medication, and then I'm gonna go home. That was not the case. So the rounds of doctors come in and they tell me, well, I had to do a bone marrow biopsy, and that shit hurt. Like her, don't let them tell you they're gonna numb it with lidocaine. Ask for some pain pills or something. I asked for pain pills, some pain medicine, and if I know I have to do it several more times, so I'm gonna ask for more pain medicine. But that shit hurt big time. So then they told me I had multiple myeloma. Now mind you, I had my aunt on the phone every time, so somebody's listening because I am zoning out. And they said I had cancer. I broke down, like, I mean, snotty, like, what are you telling me type of thoughts. I only Googled it once. I will never Google it again. So I say, well, how long will I live? And one doctor says, of 5 years. And then the doctor behind him said decades or whatever. And I'm sitting there like 5 years, decades. And I was really pissed that he said that. And they're like, oh, well, he's from Greece or some other country. And they're just very blunt or whatever, whatever. So then I finally see my multi-myeloma specialist or whatever. And I have to say, I'm not big on questions. I know people want to know every little detail and weigh it out. With all that's going on in my life, I can't take that. That's why I got my aunt with me, my mother's twin sister. And when we go to the cancer center, they think I'm with her. Like, you know, I'm her caregiver. No, she's with me. And she listens and pays attention, and she was asking questions because I wouldn't let them talk to me unless she was on the phone with me listening and everything. And I was thoroughly helpful because I was just not in the mindset to take any of this in, okay? Any of it. So then that's how I was diagnosed. I was in the hospital. I mean, for the longest time in this hospital, so let's say a week and a half, I was in this hospital thinking I was going to go home with a prescription to fix it. And then come to find out I have multiple myeloma. So that was, it was mind-blowing because I couldn't believe this was happening to me. I also found out that it happens to a lot of, it's a rare blood cancer, but it happens, there's a high percentage of African Americans with multiple myeloma. Which, the one time I don't want to be in a group. The group that I love. But anyways, that's how I was diagnosed. If you have any questions, please leave them below.